cool. Hey, Jason, how are you?
Hey, good.
We're checking out God of War Ascension today. I got to play a bit
you did
of
play
it.
it already? Okay,
yes, yes, I like God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike a lot of press people, I know how to play the game.
Okay.
Which makes me feel good about myself once in a while. But the thing that always surprises me every time we see it is you somehow made it better than God of War 3. Because I always say God of War 3 was the best looking and playing game of this generation, and it somehow looks better. How are you guys doing? Like, what kind of dark magic do you do to like get this power, to get this kind of stuff out of the PS3?
Yeah, you know, you have to talk to our engineers and our artists. They just do amazing things. Like we did get some tech here. I don't know what exactly it was, but just some magic fairy dust that makes everything look a lot better.
I like the button layout. I love everything about it. Is it felt like the evade was a little slower, wasn't as fast. Okay, well, things like that.
Well, what we try to do this game is just, as you said, we made 3 games before, and we wanted to make sure this time we still kept the fans that liked all the stuff, but made some improvements where we could. So the first improvement we made was just getting the throw off of the circle and putting it on R1. R1 usually was never used in the God of War series except for like just picking up stuff and doing random things. So now it actually is an integral part of your combat system. And circle is now your world weapon button. So you can use R1 to pick up a weapon and then beat people up with circle.
Well, there was always like a secondary weapon ever since God of War 1. You always, I mean, you never really used it that much. And
well, Well, every God of War has had weapons that you acquire kind of throughout the game.
Right.
And this game is the same.
Okay.
But
there are
these
still
world weapons are different, where it's like these will appear in the battlefield or they'll disarm from enemies, and then you can pick it up and use it right away.
Right.
And each weapon has their own little strengths and weaknesses.
Will degrade, or is it something that you can just use as long as you hold on to it?
For all the melee weapons, like the sword and the shield, they don't. You can just hold them the entire game if you want. Other things like a javelin or sling, which actually have ranged projectiles, they will be limited, so you can't use it too much.
Now, story-wise, I know you guys always kind of work within. You have to work within a set canon of God of War. Does that give you kind of a certain liberty to work with certain weapon sets, or maybe add something that you didn't get to work with before in previous games?
Well, the war weapon system definitely allowed some of that, because Kratos is a Spartan dude, and we know all about the Greek weapons and all that stuff. But he never really just picked up a sword and just whacked people with it. Like, it was always some mystical sword of Olympus or something like that, So now he can actually pick up just these straight bare bones melee weapons and integrate that with his blades for some different combos.
Well, actually, going back, adding the throw button to the R1, I actually found when I was playing that I got right off the bat, I was doing combos up to about 30. Is that kind of? Does it seem? Is it kind of what you're going for? Kind of like a more streamlined system, or is it just? Does it feel more natural? Was that the idea to keep
Well, I mean, your combos might have been a little bigger because in the beginning of the first enemies you were fighting, because I have no defenses and stuff, so you just wail and just and your combo meter time gets extended, and when you do grab guys, and since you can grab them, slam them around, it kind of helps that out a little bit. But really, what that did is that, like, typically the throw button was kind of useless against some enemies that would have to have circles over their heads and stuff like that. Now, what the tether system brings us is it allows us to kind of grab people around, pull them, and have a different mini move set within the throw, which we never had before.
Well, I noticed that when I grabbed an enemy, I was able to turn and smack other guys, and that kind of extended combination. And thankfully, it was kind of just swarms of enemies that weren't doing anything, which made me feel good about myself.
Right. No, but that's good, because that means that when you're grabbing, you grab a dude, you just kind of naturally just hit other dudes and kind of just continue your combo, and that's exactly what we're going for.
It is hands down one of the best, if not the best, in the third-person action game of like a fighting combo system. It feels so natural, and it literally is one-to-one.
Yeah, like one of our tenets is just to make sure that the player can do whatever he thinks he should be able to do. There's sometimes where it's reasonable when you do a move and you're like, okay, it looks like I shouldn't be able to move out of this or something like that. But if you want to move or block or evade, we feel like you should be able to do it, and we try our best to make that happen.
And now, I mean, you don't have to spoil anything, but I always go back to the fight with Kronos and God of War 3 being the biggest fight I think was ever in the game, just in the scope. And then also, I mean, fighting Poseidon, anywhere where you're on a Titan with the camera pulling back like that.
Right,
Can we expect that same kind of stuff, or are you guys doing something completely different that we haven't seen yet?
Well, this opening hopefully had a few elements of that, because this dude is a Titan just like those guys, and he's got a lot of arms, a lot of one giant head, so there's going to be a lot to that fight, and we expect, like, throughout the game there'll be some big encounters as well.
Very cool. The game once again looks fantastic. Best looking game on the PS3 hands down right now.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
And it's coming out soon, right?
Yes, it's coming out. I keep forgetting the exact date. It's like mid-March, March something.
Scary, right? I'm sure you've just lived in this bubble of God of War.
I've been in the bubble for a long time. So
well, you're almost out of the bubble.
To get out,
Cool. Thanks for talking to us, man. Appreciate it. Take it easy, man.